What if the financial breakthrough you have been praying for, working toward, and losing sleep over is not coming someday in the distant future, but is already in motion right now? What if the only thing standing between you and your miracle is something you have never been taught to see? And what if someone, one of the greatest men of faith who ever lived, already discovered the answer decades ago and left it for you? Stay with me, because the next 19 minutes could change your life.
Welcome.
If you found this video today, I want you to understand something right from the beginning. This is not a coincidence. You have been searching, maybe for hope, maybe for relief from the anxiety of financial pressure that seems to follow you from month to month. Maybe you are a person of faith who has prayed and believed, and yet still finds yourself wondering why the breakthrough has not come. Today we are going to go on a journey together, a spiritual journey, an educational journey. And by the end of it, I believe something will shift inside of you. We are going to draw from the life and teachings of Dr. David Yonggi, the man who built the largest Christian church in the history of the world, starting from nothing in one of the poorest nations on earth. What he discovered about financial miracles is ancient, it is scriptural, and it works.
Let us begin.
Let me describe something that might feel very familiar to you. You wake up in the morning and the first thought that enters your mind is money. Not because you love thinking about money, but because the pressure of it will not let you go. Bills are due, the account is low, an unexpected expense has appeared, and you feel that familiar tightening in your chest, that mixture of fear, frustration, and exhaustion. So you do what most people do. You work harder, you cut more expenses, you make a budget for the 10th time this year. You search for extra income, scroll through job listings, look for side opportunities. You pray, you believe, you confess positive things, and then you check your bank balance and nothing has changed. And slowly, quietly, a thought begins to form that you are almost afraid to say out loud. The thought that maybe God is not answering, maybe the miracle is not coming, maybe you are the exception. Here is what I want to say to you directly. That thought is a lie. But it is a very understandable lie because it is rooted in a hidden flaw that almost no one has ever pointed out to you. The hidden flaw is this. Most people who are believing for financial breakthrough are operating entirely in the visible world, while their miracle is being assembled in the invisible one. Think about what happens when a baby is growing in the womb. For the first weeks and months, nothing is visible from the outside. To any outside observer, nothing appears to be happening. But inside, everything is happening. Life is forming. Organs are developing. A human being is being knit together. The miracle is real and active, it is simply not yet visible. Your financial miracle operates by the same principle. The problem is that we have been trained by culture, by worry, by the visible world around us to only believe in what we can currently measure. Our bank balance, our credit score, our current paycheck. And when those numbers do not reflect what we have prayed for, we conclude that the miracle is not coming. But what if that conclusion is the very thing blocking the miracle from arriving? That is the question Dr. David Yonggi spent his entire life answering. Dr. David Yonggi was born in 1936 in Korea, a nation that would soon be devastated by war, poverty, and suffering on a scale that is difficult to comprehend. He grew up with almost nothing. He became a Christian as a young man after a miraculous healing from tuberculosis when doctors had given up on him. And from that moment, he committed his life to understanding how the invisible spiritual realm connects to the visible physical world. He started a church in 1958 in a small tent on the outskirts of Seoul with 5 members. By the time of his passing, that church had grown to over 800,000 members, the largest congregation in the history of Christianity. He did not build that through human strategy alone. He built it through a spiritual principle he called fourth-dimensional thinking. Here is what that means. The physical world we live in has 3 dimensions: length, width, and height. Everything we can see, touch, measure, and weigh exists in these 3 dimensions. But Cho taught and scripture confirms that there is a 4th dimension, the dimension of the spirit, the realm of faith. The invisible realm where miracles are conceived before they are born into physical reality. He drew this directly from the book of Genesis, where we see the Spirit of God hovering over the face of the waters before creation began. The spiritual realm came first. It governed the physical realm. It always has. And here is the extraordinary truth that Cho proclaimed. Human beings, created in the image of God, have been given the unique ability to access this 4th dimension through prayer, through vision, and through spoken faith. We are not merely physical creatures subject to physical laws. We are spiritual beings who can touch the realm where miracles are formed. Now let me give you an analogy that will make this real and practical. Imagine you have placed an order online, you paid for it. The confirmation came. The tracking information says it has been shipped and is on its way. Now do you spend every hour in panic because it has not arrived yet? Do you call and cancel the order because it is not currently in your hands? Do you tell everyone around you that the package is never coming? No. You rest, you prepare, you make space for what is already in transit. Your financial miracle works the same way. It has been ordered by your faith. It has been set in motion by God. It is in transit through the spiritual realm into your physical reality. The only question is not whether it is coming. The question is whether you are spiritually positioned to receive it when it arrives. Are you ready? Are you aligned? Are you prepared in your thinking, your spirit, and your daily practice to welcome what God has already dispatched? This is the shift that changes everything. You stop living as a person who is waiting and wondering. You begin living as a person who is preparing and receiving. And now I want to show you exactly how to do that step by step the way Cho taught it. There are 3 steps to positioning yourself for financial breakthrough. These are drawn from the teachings of Dr. Cho and grounded deeply in scripture. Step 1. Sanctify your vision. Proverbs 18 says, where there is no vision, the people perish. Before money flows, vision must flow. Before the physical breakthrough arrives, the spiritual image of it must be clear inside of you. Here is what I want you to do. Set aside 15 to 20 minutes of genuine quiet today. Not scrolling, not background music, real silence. And in that silence, ask out a very specific question. What does financial freedom look like for my life? Not what someone else has, not what a television preacher promises, not a generic number you pulled from the internet. Ask God what His specific provision looks like for your specific calling and your specific season, and then write it down with detail, with clarity, with specificity. Cho taught his congregation to write their visions with such precision that when they read them back, they could feel them. They could see them in their spirit. They could live inside the vision before it existed in the physical world. This is not fantasy. This is not wishful thinking. This is faith with a blueprint. God told Habakkuk to write the vision and make it plain. There is something sacred and activating about putting your miracle on paper. Step 2. Saturate your vision with daily prayer. Once you have your vision written, it becomes the living subject of your daily prayer. Not a list you hand to God and forget. A living, breathing, daily conversation between you and the one who holds all provision. Cho was known to pray for hours every single morning, not because God needed convincing. Not because God was reluctant, but because Cho understood that prayer aligns the human spirit with divine timing. It opens channels. It positions the person to receive what God has already prepared. Pray over your written vision every day. And here is the key that most people miss. Pray in the present tense. Not, Lord, I hope one day you will provide. But Lord, I thank you that my provision is already in motion. I thank you that every door I need is already opening. I thank you that my financial breakthrough is already done in the spiritual realm. This is not pretending. This is the prayer of faith. It is agreeing with what God has already declared over your life. Step 3, speak your miracle into the atmosphere. Proverbs 6:21 p.m. says, death and life are in the power of the tongue. This is one of the most underestimated and most powerful spiritual tools available to any believer. The words that come out of your mouth every day are either inviting your miracle closer or pushing it further away. Here is the practice. Every single morning, before you check your phone, before you look at your bank account, before the world gets a chance to speak to you, you speak first. Say out loud, with your voice, with conviction, my financial miracle is on the way. Provision is flowing toward me. Every door I need is opening. Opportunities are finding me. I am ready to receive everything God has prepared for me. Do this for 21 consecutive days, not as a magic formula, but as a daily act of alignment, a daily declaration that you believe what God says more than you believe what your current circumstances say. And I promise you, not just your finances, but your thinking, your peace, your opportunities, and your spiritual sensitivity will begin to shift in ways you have never experienced before. Now, for those of you who want to go even deeper, who want to accelerate this process and build a lifestyle around receiving, here are 3 powerful ways to intensify what you have already started. The first is fasting. Even a single day of fasting, abstaining from food and from media and from noise creates a spiritual sensitivity inside of you that is difficult to describe until you have experienced it. When you fast while holding your vision before God, clarity comes, direction comes, confirmation comes. Cho incorporated regular fasting into his prayer life from the very beginning of his ministry, and he credited it as one of the primary reasons for the extraordinary miracles he witnessed. The second is creating a physical anchor for your vision. Cho encouraged the people in his congregation to create tangible, visible representations of what they were believing God for. A photograph, a written declaration on the wall, a symbolic object. Songs, something that brings the invisible into the visible space of your daily life, so that every time your eyes land on it, your faith is renewed and your vision is reinforced. The third is finding a faith partner. Matthew 6:19 p.m. says that when two people agree on earth concerning anything they ask, it will be done. Find one person, one genuine person of faith who will not talk you out of your miracle, who will not fill your ears with doubt, and agree together in prayer regularly. The power of agreement is not symbolic, it is a spiritual law. Together, these three practices will create an environment in your life where miracles are not occasional surprises. They become a way of living. Now I have to be completely honest with you about what is going to happen when you begin this practice, because I care too much about you to leave you unprepared. You are going to start, you are going to feel inspired. You are going to write your vision and pray over it and speak it out loud and feel something stirring in your spirit. And then somewhere around day 4 or day 7 or day 12, something is going to happen. An unexpected bill will arrive, a deal will fall through. Someone will say something discouraging. You will check your balance and see the same number. And a voice is going to come quietly, persistently and say, "This is not working. Nothing is changing. You are fooling yourself." Give it up. I need you to hear this clearly. That voice is not wisdom. That voice is not discernment. That voice is resistance. And the presence of resistance almost always means you are closer to a breakthrough than you have ever been. Cho himself faced poverty, illness, persecution, and years of what appeared to be unanswered prayer before the floodgates of blessing opened over his life. The waiting was not punishment. The waiting was preparation. God was not withholding the miracle. God was forming the man who could carry it. Your timeline is not behind. You are being prepared for what is coming. The delays are not denials. The silence is not absence. And here is something I want you to carry with you when it gets hard. The fact that you are still believing right now, in this season, when everything visible says to stop, that faithfulness is not weakness. That is the most powerful act of spiritual maturity you can offer. Keep going, stay consistent. Do not stop at the edge of your breakthrough. Let me bring everything together for you before we close. Today you learned that your financial miracle is not a distant dream waiting to be born. It is a spiritual reality that is already in motion in the fourth dimension, the invisible realm that governs everything in the physical world. You learned from Dr. David Yonggi Cho that human beings have been given the sacred ability to access that realm through vision, through prayer, and through the spoken word of faith. You learned 3 practical steps to position yourself to receive what God has already prepared. Write your vision with clarity and specificity. Saturate it with daily prayer in the present tense. Speak it into your atmosphere every single morning for 21 days. You learned how to go deeper through fasting, physical anchors, and the power of agreement. And you learned what to do when resistance comes, which it will, because that resistance is a sign that you are on the right path. Your miracle is not on pause. Your miracle is on its way. If this message spoke to something inside you today, hit the like button right now, because it helps this message reach someone else who is waiting and wondering and needs to hear it. Subscribe to this channel, because every single week we go deeper into the spiritual principles that transform real lives. And leave a comment below right now with these words: "My miracle is already in motion," because saying it here in this moment is your first step of faith. I will see you in the next video. Keep believing, keep declaring. Your breakthrough is closer than you think.